problems for a troubled
Earthquake.
singer. Yep,
We're having an earthquake. Okay, it appears to have stopped.
So Trump went on with Laura Ingraham, and it was a disastrous interview for many reasons. He started off by saying we should have 50-year mortgages, which sounds a lot like you'll own nothing and be happy. He then said we should have 600,000 Chinese students coming into the United States every year, or else the colleges will have to go out of business. And here he is telling you that we need to import more Indian workers into the United States under the H-1B visa. Now, we covered this before, I'll tell you, but here, let's watch.
There's never going to be a country like what we have right now.
And does that
the
mean
Republicans have to talk about it, Laura.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people?
Wow.
Wow. You got to bring in talented people. She's like, we got plenty of talented people in the United States. No, you don't. I remember when Vivek Ramaswamy tried that. And I don't know if you've noticed, we haven't heard from him since. That was his last thing he got to say in public, was he said that, oh, the people in India have a better work culture than the United States. We only care about whatever it is, whatever he said, stupid things about going to prom dances and looking at our iPhone and playing video games, whereas the Indians have a culture of work and hard and blah, blah, blah. Nobody works harder than Americans. And here he is saying we don't have the talent. We don't have talent in America. We got to bring in people on an HB1 visa. And Laura, good on Laura Ingraham, pushes right back. Pushes right back.
In talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
I'll
give you an example. In Georgia,
yeah,
they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing and very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems.
So let's ship
they had
them
like
in.
500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say country's coming in, going to invest.
So if I'm making missiles, I'm bringing in a foreign guy who makes batteries because I want that missile to explode like an electric car battery for no apparent reason while it's sitting in its parking spot. What is he saying? I love what Laura Ingraham says. Well, how did we make missiles before? We've been making missiles. That's all we make in this country anymore is missiles. We got to bring people in from South Korea and China to make what? And India to make missiles? And then he switches it to batteries? This did not go well for Trump. This is not, and it's not me saying that, it's his base. The people who voted for him are saying this.
$10 billion to build a plant and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't work that way.
Wow. It's shocking, right? Is it right? Misha's phone, she went like that when I played this. Misha went, but she doesn't have her headphones on, so you can't hear her do that. Even though I bought her one, because we spent the money. She doesn't want to use it. She doesn't want to help the show.
Wow, I didn't see that coming.
Adam Media says Vivek broke the internet when he said that. It's literally infamous and still mentioned. Will his cuck cult give Trump the same energy? This is a complete mask off. So they're saying, so there's a lot of people, we've talked about this, that are Trumpers that say, oh, I'm loyal to Trump. And they try to point the finger at people like Tucker or Candace Owens. They're not loyal to Trump. Well, if you're loyal to a politician, you're a chump. The politician is supposed to be loyal to you. And when the politician isn't loyal to you, you're supposed to put pressure on that politician and call them out. Unless you're a cuck in a cult. That's what I thought you guys hated about the Democrats. They all pretended Joe Biden wasn't demented. They all pretended Kamala Harris wasn't a mental defective. They all pretended Russiagate was real. They all pretended the Ukraine war was because of Russia. I thought that's what this was. Just you're supposed to hate. You hate it when the left does it, but now there's certain people that are saying I'm loyal to Trump. Well, then you're just a dupe, and you get whatever you got coming. You deserve to be lied to. Here's a woman. I love that shoe on head. She tweets this out, and she says, "How am I to the right of Donald J. Trump?" So what she's saying is Donald J. Trump is for immigration, and she's to the right. She's not for it. She's not for all these H-1B visas. Donald Trump wants to bring in foreign workers, which used to be considered a lefty position. And if you're against it, you're actually to the right of Donald Trump. That's a great point she's making. How am I to the right of Donald Trump? Here now, some people try to. So Bill Mitchell, he makes a point. He says this. He says, "I see many people getting bent today over Trump's H-1B visa comments, and that how America doesn't have enough talent." That's what Trump said. Folks may not want to hear that, but our education system has gotten so bad that we just don't have as much elite educated talent as we need, especially in technology. It's just a fact. Well, isn't it weird? Because in the same interview, Donald Trump says we need to bring 600,000 Chinese students into our universities. Why would they want to come here if we have such shitty universities? Why would the brightest students from China want to come here if our universities suck so bad? That doesn't make sense. In China, children are trained to be software engineers. In America, many of them can barely read. Sounds like Vivek Ramaswamy.
Does.
Sounds like Vivek Ramaswamy. Rather than getting mad at Trump for speaking the truth, people should start to take education more seriously and stop with everyone's equal woke crap. So he almost got ratioed on this. He came very close to getting ratioed on that. But I like right underneath it, Jordan B says, "You're telling the same lies that Dinesh and Vivek tell. When dusted for race, the U.S. tests in the same range as Scandinavia and Eastern European countries. When you say our education system, you expose yourself because it's primarily minorities dragging our scores down." That's what Jordan B says. But if you look at it, he's right about how Americans test. So there it is. So disingenuous. Here are the 2022 PISA scores, separate ranking in purple for a further breakdown of the U.S. U.S. white high school students outperform all of Europe. So I'm not going to bother you with that. Here's what Polish Night USA says. So logically, why do so many of these students come to the USA to go to university if our schools are so awful and run by illiterate Americans? Why do H-1Bs products, meaning people who are H-1Bs, of the same university system with the same grades take precedence over Americans? So they come here, they go to school, they get an H-1B visa to work here. Why do they take precedence over Americans? And Grok says, yes, the H-1B program undermines and undercuts American workers by enforcing immobility that strips bargaining power, allowing employers to maintain median wages without premium U.S. worker demand via job hopping. So what I believe what Grok is saying there is that an H-1B visa limits the mobility of an H-1B employee. Like you can't just go jump to another company. You have to stay with the company that sponsored your H-1B visa. I'm pretty sure that's what that means. So now they become almost captured. So they have less power with their employer, as an American worker does, because an American worker can leave. These workers can't. This enables displacements and wage suppression across entry, mid, and senior roles, prioritizing cost predictability over competitive talent markets. While not absolute in every case, the structural incentives favor undercutting native labor dynamics, meaning undercutting American workers. That's what Trump is doing. And people voted for the exact opposite of this. People voted for Trump to prioritize American workers, and they're not. Just like Joe Biden gave H-1B visas to people to become truck drivers in the United States, as if we don't have enough people to do truck driving in America. The reason Joe Biden did that was because he was in bed and in debt to the trucking industry and the companies who wanted to hire cheaper labor. And so he gave H-1B visas on his way out the door to companies to hire foreign truck drivers. And now Trump is doing the same thing, bringing in foreign workers. And by the way, if you're a special talent, they already have a program that brings in special talent that we don't have in the United States. And it's not the H-1B visa program. There's another program that's already in place that allows you to bring in special talented people that have a talent that nobody else in the United States have. We already have that program. So the H-1B visas, it's not for people who have special talents that we don't have in the America. That's not that program. That's a program for companies who want to save money on labor and don't want to pay Americans.
So they don't really have special talents or intellectual abilities that Americans don't have. They just are going to be able to suppress their wages ultimately.
Yeah. And these are Trumpers. This is an utter betrayal of the entire base. Even Kilgore, we have been betrayed. These are Trump voters. We have been betrayed. Here's Kelly McCarthy, former non-Bidenary. That's a pretty funny name. I'm sorry, but I disagree. My daughter graduated 14th in her class, got a full STEM scholarship to her university, and has made straight A's. She majored in business and computer science and couldn't even get an internship because of H-1Bs. Her friends are also in the same situation. Ask college-aged Gen Zs and millennials. They're being replaced. So Trump is just gaslighting his base now. You're an idiot and weak-minded if you think there's something to the Epstein case. If you think groceries cost more, I don't want to hear it. That's what he says. And now he's saying we need to have 600,000 Chinese students in our universities. And now he's saying we got to bring in people from India under H-1B visas because we don't have enough talent in America. It's just gaslighting. It's not going to work, which is why the Republicans got wiped out in the last election on Tuesday. And believe me, that's nothing compared to what's going to happen in the midterms. Mr. Rogers of Crypto says, I'm sitting here with a BS, an MS, and an MBA, laid off by an Indian CEO, locked out of tech by an Indian mafia, about to lose my house. This has nothing to do with talent in the USA and all to do with fraudulent, nepotistic Indians taking over tech thanks to DEI. So these are very popular sentiments in the group of people who voted for Trump. This guy, Dominic Michael Trippi, says, Trump says bringing in H-1B visa immigrants is necessary while denying that there's enough talented Americans to fill the same positions. This is absolutely pathetic. This week was an all-time low point, completely out of touch. Yeah, because Trump told you in the same interview, we need 50-year mortgages, we need to bring in 600,000 Chinese students, and we need to bring in H-1B visa workers. In one interview, all-time low this week. Oh, and Kash Patel is suing people for criticizing Israel. So bad week. Bad week for MAGA. Salty says, that's the Salty Mormon, says, F this guy. Trump is the greatest traitor in American history. 50-year mortgages, 15-year car loans, 600,000 Chinese students, Antifa riots, bombing Iran, blatant cover-up of the Kirk assassination, complete and total Epstein cover-up, multiple other Israel cover-ups, anti-Semitism crackdowns, Al-Qaeda at the White House, and they say low deportations. So let's go a little bit more. It's time to break from H-1B visas. Who said that? Mike Lee. Senator Mike Lee. Senator Mike Lee said that. Republican Mike Lee. And here is a tweet from Nick Fuentes from a while ago. This is from last October 24. He says, our billboard on I-85 leading up to Trump's rally in Georgia today. It says, replacing Americans legally, paid for by the America First Foundation. Replacing Americans legally. This was a billboard, and he says, shout out to Trump for stapling green cards to diplomas and replacing Americans with immigrants, but legally. Wall Street Mab, again, these are all people who voted for Trump, says, bringing in foreign talent to train Americans doesn't require a 6-year H-1B visa. They can come for 1 or 2 or 3 months to accomplish training without bringing their entire family. No need to buy a house and set down roots. No need to enroll their children in the school system. Just come for a few weeks or months and then go home. That's what people are saying. Trump has let them down. And if you'd like to hear my jokes about this, come see me in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane. We'll be in Burbank, California the day after Thanksgiving. It's a Friday. Everybody's off. Most people. I'm not off. December 6th in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, and January 11th in Waikiki. Beautiful. Have you ever been to Waikiki? You should go. It's amazing. We'll be at the Blue Note. It's a beautiful club. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Over to Steph.
Okay, great.
That's it for me.
All right, Jimmy, thank you so much. Here we go. Black universities are doing just fine since Kenzie Scott is giving them all of Bezos' money. Corn Pop, the baddest dude. You can big screen camera for right now as people make their way out of the studio. James Abruzzi says, this lying cocksucker should have said all this shit during his campaign. Right? Exactly, James. I hear you, amigo. All right. Andrew Kirby, you're not dumb. Stop saying that you're dumb, Andrew. You're not. I know why he wants Chinese students so they can all go work for his friend and buddy, Jensen Wang. That's from Octagon. Noel says, why the F is U.S. military in Panama? Oh, we're all over the world spreading democracy. Yeah, the adversary says, I voted for him. I'm ready for him to be impeached. Orange fat ass doesn't know jack shit about what MAGA wants. Look at you, the adversary, coming in strong. MAGA incels want Chinese women. Let's go. Where's my state-sponsored Chinese waifu? I'll even take a leftover woman at this point. Let's be real. Octagon. All right, let's see this one. Going nuclear. Nick's trolling all the billionaires and world politicians. 50 years, how long before the all-new multi-general mortgage? No kidding, P.W. Walker. Plasma stream, President Trump treats USA like an economic zone, not a nation or homeland. President Franklin Roosevelt treated in the same way. You can show stuff now. Did you, Plasma, did you mean Rosenfeld or did you mean Roosevelt? Were you being playful? Okay. Biden let in less Chinese in the back door than Trump is letting in the front door. Frank. Are those foreign students being vetted by Israel? Is that why? Jack in a box. Literacy rate in U.S. is 79%. Literacy rate in China, 97.5%. Trump isn't wrong. Let me ask you, in China,